Northeast Indiana is a major corridor for railroads and certainly no stranger to hazardous shipments and derailments.
One particular product is traveling through at increasingly high rates, crude oil. Explosive and even fatal derailments have brought oil train concerns into the national spotlight. Tonight, 15 Finds Out continues its investigative series by taking a closer look at how emergency crews would respond if an oil train derailed through your backyard.
It's a scenario first responders are preparing for now more than ever. We discovered an oil train derailment could cause major problems in our environment, force you to evacuate your home, and at worst, be deadly. It's a familiar sound for folks across the area, especially in Garrett. According to the Department of Transportation, between 54 and 61 trains travel on this CSX line every day, one of the busiest in Northeast Indiana, literally butting up to the backyards of folks living here.
You get used to the trains after a while.
I'm just used to it.
Some days more than others.
Every week, 20 to 35 trains carrying more than 1 million gallons of crude oil travel on this line. It came as a surprise to many, even for a town known as the home of the railroaders.
I personally have not been that aware of crude oil.
I never thought of it, but it is kind of scary.
More crude oil being produced in North Dakota is being shipped through Northeast Indiana and across the U.S. Since the beginning of last year, there have been at least 10 major oil train derailments. One incident in Quebec killed 47 people. The trend has caught the attention of federal safety regulators. So far, 15 Finds Out uncovered first responders who were left in the dark regarding oil train statistics and a battle to make oil trains safer.
It's scary to look at.
But Northeast Indiana is no stranger to derailments. Just a couple months ago, a Norfolk Southern train derailed in New Haven. Fortunately, most of the cars were empty. Officials say no chemicals or hazardous materials spilled.
Number one, everybody's lucky.
Other areas across the state haven't been as fortunate. 15 Finds Out dug up federal records showing there have been 6 serious hazmat incidents on Indiana railroads since 2010. Luckily, none has involved crude by rail. But one of the worst accidents happened in Ligonier in March of 2012. More than 200,000 pounds of molten sulfur spilled when a Norfolk Southern train derailed. Some of it caught fire. More than 100 people from 56 homes had to be evacuated.
It is creating a concern that other areas downwind may be affected by any smoke.
But what if that was crude oil? Noble County Emergency Management Director Mick Newton handled the Ligonier incident. He says the local response would be similar no matter what hazardous material derails. First, call railroad leaders who will respond to the derailment, and then
try and get the people out of the danger area.
Newton exclusively showed 15 Finds Out an app EMA directors would use.
And it literally has looked at the direction of the wind and stuff. If you can see this cone shaped, it gives me the possible plume. And this program gives us an idea how far, worst case scenario, to evacuate. In this case, it's out almost 5 miles.
So you're always looking about where is it going to happen.
Auburn Fire Chief Mike Van Zyl says his team has recently trained more on crude oil derailments than ever before. He says if an oil train derailed and caught fire, his crews will have to let it burn.
Defensively, to let something burn is usually the safest for the environment. If we start adding a bunch of foam and a bunch of water to a product and it goes into city sewers, lakes, streams, rivers, waterways, the environmental impact could last for years. If it's mobile cars, we don't have close to the resources to do that, no.
With a greater number of oil trains traveling through places like Fort Wayne, Auburn, and Garrett, federal officials say the risk for these extreme responses is growing.
If it were to happen here in the town of Albion or in a community, that would be my worst nightmare, because the area we would have to evacuate.
Now make sure you click on the story on Wayne.com. We've added extended information on the 6 serious hazmat incidents on Indiana railroads. 15 Finds Out will be tracking proposed regulations aimed at making crude by rail safer in your backyard, and we'll update you with the latest developments as they happen. Live in Studio 15, Adam Widener, News Channel 15.